What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to your first time here. Now guys, when it comes to financial system and the banking system, I have a rudimentary knowledge. I know kind of how things work. However, I'm not a expert on all this, and don't take anything I say in this video as financial advice. It is just common sense at this point, in my opinion. If you look at everything that's going on, it's easy to see what's happening to the US dollar. It's becoming more and more worthless every day. Completely worthless. Worth less than what it was a year ago, worth less than what it was 6 months ago. And a year from now, it'll be worth even less or completely worth less. And if you look at the things going on right now, it's easy to see why, and it's easy to see the United States currency and economy is collapsing. I was looking at a chart today that showed the money supply, and over the years it was pretty much even. It was growing slowly. There'd be a few little spikes here and there in the chart, but when it got to right after the COVID bailouts, that chart went from being pretty much level with a few spikes up and down straight up, and that's continued on for the last 3 years. It's been print, spend. There's been bailout after bailout. There's been COVID bailouts. There's been bank bailouts. All kinds of bailouts going on. There's been Ukraine bailout. We've sent money everywhere pretty much. The United States has. And according to the U.S. National Debt Clock chart here, each taxpayer's debt now is at $247,766. That's the amount that every taxpayer owes. Every taxpayer owes $247,766. The national debt is at $31 trillion, but it's going past over $32 trillion here very shortly. If you look at what's going on, if you look at the national debt, if you look at the increase in the currency supply, you also look at the fact that the BRICS nations around the world are getting off the dollar. They are dumping the dollar. You know, our dollar was backed by Saudi Arabian oil. It's tied to oil in Saudi Arabian oil prices, and it was an agreement with Saudi Arabia that no one could buy, oil that was U.S. dollars, and that's why the other countries had to have U.S. dollars. That's why 45% of the currency, the U.S. currency, is abroad. But people, these other nations, these leaders don't want this anymore because they see where it's going, and they see the United States is using this as a control mechanism to control other countries, to crash other countries' economies, and they're dumping the dollar. That's another death blow. We see this happening right now. We have, Russia, China, Brazil, India. They're all getting together. Iran, North Korea, they're all getting together to dump the dollar. And when they do, it's happening now, but it's continuing to happen, and they keep on putting this in place, getting everything lined up, and getting other nations on board, and it's going to be the death warrant for the U.S. dollar. So we have, other countries, other nations dumping the dollar, getting off the dollar system, saying screw the United States or the United States dollar, and all it's going to come back. It's going to cause massive inflation and hyperinflation. Bailout after bailout. The national debt keeps going up, and the money supply straight up. And we also see the banking system crashing now. 3 failed banks this year were bigger than 25 banks that crumbled in 2008. I mean, if you look at what's going on now, it's obvious what's happening. The dollar is going to go to zero. The dollar is going to go to nothing. The economy is crashing. We're going to be Venezuela. JP Morgan Chase takes over First Republic after biggest U.S. bank failure since 2008. And from my understanding, the federal government, taxpayers, actually gave JP Morgan Chase the money to take over First Republic Bank. I think that's the way it worked. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. That's what I read, and that's the best I understood what they was talking about. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. If I'm right, let me know also. But this is a big deal, guys. These banks are crashing, and there's been 3 major banks in the last 2 months that's crashed. It's not going to end. If these major banks are crashing like this quickly, this close together, It's going to be more and more bank failures. What they're doing with this right here, with JP Morgan Chase taking over First Republic, is just trying to slow it down a little bit. They know it's coming, but they're trying to slow it down a little bit, while at the same time, telling us, the American people, that it is great. Everything is fine. The banking system is strong. It is secure. And when they start talking like that and telling us one thing, we know it's usually the opposite. So these banks are failing, as you can see here. This isn't the last. There's going to be more and more bank failures as time goes on. And like I said, the national debt, money supply increasing, other nations getting off the dollars to have the world reserve currency, bank failures. It's happening. Any idiot with half a brain could see what's going on. The dollar is inflation right now. It's going to hyperinflate. It's going to eventually go to nothing, and the economy is going to crash. If I had a whole lot of money in the bank, which I don't, but if I had money in the bank, I would try to invest that personally. This is not advice for you. This is what I would do if I had $25,000, $30,000 in the bank or more. I would invest that in things that I would turn that paper reserve currency into things I could actually use, like food. You're going to have to eat. If you can buy non-perishable, storable foods now and put that back and have that on hand, it's going to go up in price for sure from what it is right now. So get what you can now. If it was me, like I said, I would invest my money in storable foods. I would buy firearms, ammunition. This is, say I'm starting with nothing. Just had money in the bank and no supplies or nothing right now. I would invest in food. I would invest in firearms, ammunition, spare magazines, cleaning supplies, training, medical gear, medical training, pay off debts, put in garden areas on your property if you have a property, get chickens, get some, whatever you can raise on your property, farm animal wise, chickens, rabbits, goats. If you have a pond, you can stock that full of fish. That's a good way to have, some extra food supply. Plant fruit trees. Expand your food production area on your property as much as you possibly can, because you're going to have to eat. Put back tools, put back hardware, put back gardening tools and things like that. Oil, if you can put back propane, energy, solar panels, whatever is, if you look at what you have now, take an inventory, see what you have now, what you need, and you can put your finances, or that's what I would do. I'm having to use this kind of language, why? Because the laws and things. But I would put my money, my currency, towards stockpiling as much essential things like a stockpile of things I know I'm going to need in the future. Work gloves, shoes, security system in your home, maybe some extra tires for your automobile, some extra parts, oil, filters, belts, and things like that, because it's going to go up in price and more difficult to get. And if there's a war that breaks out between United States and China over Taiwan and North Korea, it's going to most likely expand out into World War III, and you're going to not be able to get things like cell phones, computers, and there may be an EMP attack to cut the power, to shut the power grid off here in the United States. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's obvious to see what's happening right now to the United States dollar. It is crashing. It's going to go to zero. So plan accordingly. Like I said, look at what you need. That's what I would do. I'd make an inventory. Look at what I needed, and I would take, if I had currency, put back in the bank, I would take that out, and I would invest that in things I'm going to know that I know I'm going to need to survive with in the future. And once you do that, and you have all your survival priorities in place, and most people will never get to that point, but if you have your survival priorities in place and you have more currency left, you might want to look into investing that into things like silver, gold, some decentralized cryptocurrencies. Get away from the United States dollar, because it's crashing. That is what's happening. It's crashing. And again, like I said, this is just me talking. This is not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. But it's easy to see for anyone with any brain whatsoever to see what's happening and what's coming. When you have national debt, $31 trillion, going to go to $32 trillion here shortly. You have banks crashing. You have the world getting off the United States dollar as the world reserve currency and essentially giving the United States the big old finger, you know what's coming. I mean, it's obvious what's coming. If you have any kind of a brain whatsoever, and you're not completely delusional and thinking that because Joe Biden or some of his cabinet or some of these other bankers like JP Morgan Chase and a Diamond guy, I think his name, Jamie Dimon, says everything is great, everything is secure. The banking system here in the United States is sound and secure. You know something's going on when they start talking that way, because we know whatever they say, it's usually always the opposite. And if you're looking at it, the banks are crashing. It's obvious to see they're not secure. It's easy to see that the dollar is not secure. The dollar is crashing, guys. So use common sense. Don't take my advice. Use common sense. Go do your own research. Figure things out. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. My knowledge is rudimentary when it comes to all this banking and financial system. However, like I said, it's easy to see what's going on. I mean, you could take a 10-year-old to look at this, what's going on now, and tell them, you know, how things are working a little bit and how things are going, what's happening. They say, something ain't right. Something's not right here. This dollar's crashing. Even a 10-year-old would figure that out because it's so simple. It's so obvious. Yet people are still like, that's going to be all right. All we got to do is elect Donald Trump here in a couple of years and put him in office, and he'll make this country great again. He'll make America great again. No, he won't. Unfortunately, the country is past the point of no return. I don't care who you elect, short of Jesus Christ. He don't need to be elected. He's already Jesus Christ. He's already the Lord and Savior. But you know what I mean. No one can save this country at the point it's in. We have passed the point of no return. We are a dying empire, and it's going to be much worse if there's even a presidential election and anyone else gets elected, which I don't think they will, because we know how the voting system all works, and it's all, in my opinion, it's all rigged. The outcome is already predetermined, especially at the federal level. So, there's no vote, no political savior who's going to save the United States economy. It's going to save the United States from being the dying empire and going the way of Venezuela and being a third world country. All you can do is prepare. Get your finances in order, get your houses in order, get your family in order, get as many skills as you possibly can, train. Accept it. This is what's coming. I mean, this channel could grow tremendously. If I would get on here and tell you that we got to elect the Republicans, we're going to save the Republic, blah, 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 and feed you full of a bunch of bullshit, the channel would grow. But I come on here and I tell what I think. I tell the truth, the hard, cold facts. The United States, as we knew it, is gone. It's going to get much, much worse. And we're already, the legal system and the political system looks like a third world country now. Financial system is going the same way. The United States is going down. War most likely will break out. And when we see the currency, what's already happening with the currency, it's obvious what's happening with the currency. Even if we don't have World War III, there's no war with China over Taiwan, the currency's collapsing. That's a given. There's no way around this whatsoever. When you see the chart with the money supply growth, if you look at the national debt, if you look at the individual taxpayer debt now, if you look at the fact that other nations around the globe, around the world, are dumping the dollar, it's easy to see what's happening. Bank closures, bank failures. It's obvious. Please prepare as much as you possibly can. Prepare as much as you possibly can. And, I have to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. I'll put a link in the description box below. Check them out. They offer different things to safeguard your wealth. I can't explain it all here because they offer so much. Go on there. Look at the website, email them, call them, ask questions. Maybe you can figure out something that's best for you to do. Again, thank you for sponsoring this video. Genesis Gold Group's greatly appreciated. The economy is crashing. If you don't want to go with Genesis Gold Group, that is fine. Just do something to get yourself ready for what is coming. Genesis Gold Group is just an option. Look at the option. If you think it's the best option for you, then go with that. If it's not, then leave it. But do something to better prepare for what's coming. No one's going to be prepared for this. As far as being totally prepared for this, it's going to be rough on everyone. It's going to be a shock on everyone. I'm going to get used to new normal. Unfortunately, I hate to use that term, a new normal. That's what it's going to be. The United States being prosperous, the land of opportunity, is over. You know, we have all this going on. I just talked about the banking system and the financial system, the national debt and the BRICS. We also have a completely open southern border where we have millions a year coming across. It's, when you think about it, it makes your head want to just go, poof. Your mind is just poof, blown. I mean, it is crazy what's going on right now, but it's easy to see where it's leading to. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Remember, check out Jesse Go Group, the link below. You know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is crashing? Do you think there's any hope in saving the financial system, saving the economy, and saving the country? If you do, you know what you think in the comments below. And don't just say, yes, we're going to save the country, we need to stand up. Give some details. How? How is it going to be saved at this point? You know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. To create more matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.